Welcome back to wagertalk.com. This is Video Best Bets Part 2. You're going to get a best bet from both Preston and myself. We're going to start with Preston. You're heading Saturday to college basketball. We've got a tournament game, a Butler and Indiana. That's going to be played at the Bankers Life Fieldhouse in Indianapolis, Indiana. What are you looking at?
Yeah, it's kind of a mini tournament they're doing out there like we're doing here in Vegas. UCLA, Ohio State, Kentucky, North Carolina are doing a little tournament. I was going over some of the games and look-ahead lines, and a couple people I talked to said that Indiana was going to be favorites, and I guess that makes sense, just kind of from an odds maker perspective. I guess if I had to, I would make the game, pick or Indiana small favorite. I personally make Butler the favorite though, and so I'm looking to take Butler plus whatever points come out. You look mostly at the Indiana side. It's a team that's blown out 3 straight opponents since they beat North Carolina at home, which was technically an upset. They ended up closing 5.5-point underdogs. But the 3 teams they beat, they were favored by like at least 25 in each of those 3. But in that UNC game, I tell people a lot, just throughout college football especially, don't fall trapped to like the 1-game sample size or even a 2 or 3 game sample size. UNC was 3.5 and they got bet up to 5.5. So Indiana was bet against despite winning the game. They played, I think it was SIU Edwardsville the following game, and they were bet against in that one. They played Southeast Missouri State the following one. They were bet against in that game. So sharp guys have been betting against this Indiana team. They've been winning by 20, 30 in those last few. But I think it's going to be another one that moves, and so sooner the better. I think getting Butler plus points. Butler, a team that's beaten Vanderbilt, Arizona, Utah on the road, in Salt Lake and altitude. They just beat Cincinnati after they came off their loss to Indiana State, who's not as bad as it sounds when you say Indiana State basketball. Butler did lose by 1. That was their only loss, but they bounced back well. I really like them. I think Indiana's a little bit overvalued in general. And getting Butler at a dog price, according to a few people I talked to, I'll be happy to take that, I should say. So the pick is Butler. We don't have a line yet, but +2 to +3 is going to be a great bet. I still like it down to pick.
All right, good stuff. I'm going to go to the NFL, and I'm going to take a look at Tennessee +5.5 on Sunday. They're at Kansas City, and I'm a big situational guy, and boy, you can't have a better situational spot than we find going against Kansas City this week. Kansas City's coming off that huge game on Thursday night against the Raiders. That put them into a tie for first place, but in essence gave them the division if they finished tie because they swept the season series against the Raiders. So coming off that big Thursday night game, yes, they get a couple extra days to prepare for Tennessee, but they've got a big game on deck. Is next week they play the Denver Broncos, which is going to be a big game for them. I just don't see them being properly focused for this game. I know they got to still win. I understand that. But sandwiched between those 2 division games like that with the 2 best teams in the division, I don't see it. You look at Andy Reid's nature. He has a game plan that's always conservative. They don't stretch the field, which is the one way that you can beat Tennessee. You can pass the ball on them. This is a team, though, Tennessee, when they have the ball, they don't make mistakes. They run the football. They're the 3rd best rushing team in the NFL. The only 2 teams better than them rushing the football, Buffalo and Dallas. I think that they can shorten this game. And again, going back to Andy Reid's nature, he's not a guy that puts a lot of points on the board. You've got a low total here. I see this as a game that's going to come right down to the wire, maybe a field goal deciding it late. I think they can pull it out. I'll take the 3rd best rushing team in the league at 4.8 yards a carry. Couple that with the fact that 4 of the last 6 games, Kansas City scored 21 or less. I'll take Tennessee live dog here. Let's call for the outright upset, 24-23.
I recall Titans are still contending for their division too, so this is a big game for them to be right there with Houston, who upset Indianapolis last week.
Absolutely, they need it. So there's the 2 best bets for this week. You got Preston, it says to take Butler on Saturday in college basketball. I'm going with Tennessee on Sunday for my best bet in the NFL. Don't forget, guys, use coupon code LIONS10. Save yourself $10 this weekend at wagertalk.com. Good luck as always. We'll be back next week. More bowl coverage starting next week as the bowls will start rolling out in full force next week.